Whoosh! Hello BookTube! I missed you last week and next week's spring break, so I will not be posting. But I did want to make a little video because of lots of reasons. First, I was sick last weekend, and nothing gets you out of a cold better than making a video talking to yourself. Also, I did a lot of schoolwork today, and I'm just ready to talk about something that is not an essay, or a speech, or a psychology test. But, I also was thinking and realized that I have never made a video dedicated solely to The Book Thief. And it is time, my friends, to remedy that error. I am making an entire video about The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak and why you should read it. It's really easy to convince bookworms that they will one day want to read a book or that they should read a book eventually, but it is very hard to convince someone to, even the most dedicated bookworms, it's very hard to convince them to actually pick up a copy of a book and read it. This is a book that I buy for friends and that I force down their throats because it is amazing. Just kidding, I don't. It's a really good book, and it is my favorite of all time. If I had to choose a favorite, I made a three favorite books video in the description below. There's a link down there. Yeah, you can also like and comment and subscribe. I think there's a subscribe button, it's red. I'm not going to put it on the screen. I don't know how to be all fancy with YouTube. But, back to The Book Thief. Alright, here are the reasons you should read this book before you die. And not just before you die, but today. I am rereading it for the third time, so that tells you something about how good it is. Because I rarely reread books, and for me personally, this is a book that I will be rereading probably every year for the rest of my life. The writing is the number one reason you need to read this book, because every single word in this book is very specifically chosen, and there are short sentences and long sentences, and there are rough words, and then there are really lyrical words, and it's just all juxtaposed in this flawless combination. And here's the last line I read, okay? Yes, I know it. In the darkness of my dark beating heart, I know. He'd have loved it all right. You see, even death has a heart. Every single line in this book is just so quotable. And secondly, the story. Not only is the writing good and will inspire all my fellow writers, but the storyline is so strong and really heart-wrenching. At the end of the book, I cry every single time. And it is about very real characters, and if you don't know, it is set in the 1939 Nazi Germany, and it is narrated by Death. If that is not a powerful storytelling tool, having your book narrated by Death, I don't know what is. At that point, that is just the most amazing, incredible thing someone could ever do with a book. Other than, telling the story backwards to forwards. Or, a second-person book where it's all about the reader. Or, the book falls in love with the reader. There are lots of different theories that I like to play with. But narrating by Death is amazing. And it sounds really creepy, and it's really dark. But I went into it thinking it was going to be really creepy and dark, and it wasn't as creepy and dark. And every time I read it, it seems less creepy and less dark because I know the rhythm of it. And Death has a lot of perspective, but you actually kind of become friends with him. The way he tells the story is very powerful, and you see how, okay, even though Death isn't actually personified, because it's personified in the book, you see the character of Death as almost relatable? That sounds really weird, but it's trying to make Death relatable, I guess, as a character, not as the actual, Death. I think that would be impossible to make actual Death relatable. But a third reason that you should read this book, Hmm. Because I said so and it's a flawless masterpiece. A lot of people would say that like their favorite book is the best book in the entire world. And I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to try to claim that The Book Thief is the most amazing book in the entire world, even though I probably have in like every single video I've ever published. But I'm just going to say that even though there are many amazing books, The Book Thief is the one that will stand the test of time. It's like the only contemporary book that I've really, 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 truly enjoyed. Like, written contemporarily, written recently. And it's one of my favorite Holocaust books of all time. I like it better than The Hiding Place or Number the Stars or any other Holocaust book I've read. There are some very powerful images in it, and there are a few like content warnings I would add with this book. It's definitely PG-13, like if you're a 12-year-old or 10-year-old, don't go read this book. But if you are older and can stand some cursing that's mostly in German, this is one of the most flawless books of all time. Every single word is specifically chosen. The story is powerful and heart-wrenching. Like, it gets you every time. It's not a very long book, but the narration and everything about it is so beautiful. It's about the power of words, the power of story, the power of friendship, and it's one of the most beautiful Holocaust stories I have ever read or ever will read. So, go read The Book Thief, and let me know in the comments below if you have any ideas for future booktube videos, because I started this channel with like a handful of ideas, and then every week I'd kind of add one and then take one, and now I'm like completely out of ideas. So I spent an entire video talking about my favorite book, which it needed its own video anyway. But I need more ideas, or else this is gonna fizzle out when I go to college. So let me know in the comments below, and don't forget, the book, The Book Thief, was better than the movie, The Book Thief. Don't forget, the book was better.